Hi, I'm Deanna Springer. On behalf of Nancy Zeman Productions and PBS Wisconsin, thank you for joining us for this special educational presentation. Please add your questions for the presenter in the chat and stay tuned for a Q&A after the lecture. Then, be sure to explore everything else the Great Wisconsin Quilt Show has to offer, including beautiful quilt exhibits and an interactive vendor mall. Thank you and enjoy.
Hello, my name is Donna Bellars, and I am a Bernina long arm expert. I also work and teach at Bigsby Sewing Center in Elm Grove. And in addition to that, I do a lot of long arm quilting for customers from home. Today, I'm going to share with you a really cool idea I came up with. It's a bench pillow. And on the bench pillow, I couched the word summer. And when I was making it, I was trying to figure out, how can I do this on a long arm? And so today's class, I'm going to be sharing with you step-by-step a series of videos on how I created this really cool bench pillow. All you're going to need is a Bernina Q24 with Q-Matic. And if you come see me at Bigsby's, I will be sure to help you get yours. All right, so now you can see that I'm at the computer screen, and the first thing I've done is I've set my safe area, and we can talk about that at the end. I'm going to assume we all know how to do that. And I'm going to go down here and I'm going to select the rectangle. It is now on my screen, and I'm going to move it so that you can see it. Right there it is. And if I go over to this icon here on the lower right-hand side, I can resize this rectangle, and I'm going to do it using my keypad. And I'm going to not maintain the ratio because I know that my pillow form is 16 by 38. So I want to make that pillow form just a little bit bigger. So I'm going to pick 40 inches across and click OK. And then I'm going to call it 18 inches tall and click OK. And when I apply that change and hit the green check mark, you can see that I have created, I'm moving it here, you're going to see two red boxes. I'll unclick that so it looks blue. There. That rectangle, if you can see it, represents the top of the pillow. So now I'm going to select one of the edge-to-edge designs that is in my file folder. And if I double click that, it came onto the screen, and I'm going to adjust my camera just a little bit here for you. So I'm going to fill this area with this edge-to-edge by simply hitting the plus key until I fill that blue rectangle. Now I need more rows. So I'm going to go here and I'm going to add a second row and a third row. And I don't like the spacing that I see here, so I'm going to bring things in closer. I'm doing this all with my mouse, and this looks pretty nice. I'm going to say okay. So here it is. It's bigger than my pillow top, but not to worry. I can trim it by simply selecting my scissors. I'm going to make a horizontal cut right at the top of my pillow, slightly above the top of my pillow. You can see the top has turned black, and when I hit OK, that's gone. When I select the design again and choose my scissor, I could do a vertical cut, and I'm going to go just outside my blue rectangle. And everything that's in black is going to disappear. I don't want that, so I'm going to invert it. So just the outside edge is removed. And then I'm going to click OK. I'm going to come over to the other side, the left-hand side, which you might not be able to see right now, but I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to take my scissors. I'm going to make a vertical cut just larger than that rectangle that's on my screen. There it is. It's long at the bottom, but I can chop that off when I get down to that row. Effectively, I have created an edge to edge, and on my pillow sample, Prior to putting the summer on it, I did a background quilting design. And all I have on my frame is one layer of batting and then the pillow top. Once I complete stitching this edge to edge over the rectangle that is the front or the face of my pillow, I'm going to come back and add summer. So I'm gonna get the machine set up and show you a little bit of stitching, and I will meet you back here soon. All right, my machine is almost done stitching out our edge to edge. You can see I stitched out the rectangle, which represents the top of our pillow, in a different color, so that later when I want to cut it out, I can see exactly where to cut it. And as soon as it is done finishing this last little bit of the third row of our edge to edge, I'll meet you back at the computer and we'll look at how we couch the word summer on top of our pillow. Now that I've finished stitching out the edge to edge on the top of my pillow, I'm going to show you how I created the couching word summer in Art and Stitch and brought it to the front. So at the bottom of our screen in Cumatic, we have this colorful button, and if I click it, it will open Art and Stitch, which is a digitizing software located within Cumatic, and it allows you to edit designs and create your own designs. So down here, I'm going to just click on the TrueType fonts, and I'm going to open up the screen that allows me to type in the word summer, and then I'm going to select my font, which happens to be Lucinda handwriting, and then I made it as big as it would go, 72. I'm going to click OK and OK. You can see my word summer. So there are a couple problems with this. First of all, it's an embroidery design, and I would like to convert this to a quilting outline. So I'm going to go to the upper right-hand corner, and I'm going to unclick the fill and click apply. Now you can see that I have the outline of the word summer. I still have a few things that I have to clean up here. You can see where the U and the M and the M and the E and the R overlap. There are these extra stitches in there. So in embroidery, they kind of sort of get covered up by your satin stitches. When we do couching, we want those to disappear. So in order to do that, I have to combine these in a way that will eliminate these extra stitches. So I'm going to apologize. My computer does work a little slow here in my basement, but I'm going to walk you through how I do it. I'm going to select the first letter, which is the U. I'm going to hold down the Control button and select the next, the M. So you can see I have both of them combined. And what I need to do is I need to right-click when I see a picture of a hand. And here's where my computer is running a little slow here because of my internet connection in the basement. But when I see the hand on one of them, eventually when I right-click, I will get this pop-up, and it says transform artwork. When I go to Unite and click that one time, you can see that the overlap here has been removed. So I'm going to finish that. I'm going to take this portion now, I'm going to hold down the Control key, and I'm going to select the next M. And so when I get the hand, if you were doing this in Art and Stitch on your laptop prior to coming to your Cumatic, this would go lickety-split. I just happen to be in a basement here where my connection is slow. So I right-click, go down to Transform Artwork, click Unite, and you can see now I've eliminated that area of an overlap. So I'm just going to continue this. I'm going to hold down the Control key, select the E, and when my computer catches up with my right click, I will transform artwork, I will click Unite, and that has been removed. I'm going to do it one more time. Hold down my Control key, click the R, and when my computer catches up, I will transform artwork and Unite. The one last thing I need to do is fix this S. It is not connected, so I'm going to highlight it, and I'm just arbitrarily grabbing a corner and making it larger. And this is something I just did visually. And then I'm going to move this S so that it slightly overlaps the U. The key to all of this is they have to kind of sort of overlap. Then I'm going to hold down my Control key, select the rest of the word, and when my computer catches up and lets me go transform artwork and unite, now I have one continuous stitch out. So I'm going to end my video here now, and I will see you back at the machine. So when I saved this file as summer, it came back over to Qmatic, and this is exactly how it looked. And so it is a stitchable file. So what I did is I just kind of took it up here and I plopped it in the middle of my pillow top, and you can see, to me, it looks a little too small. So I'm just going to take it down here. I'm going to go over to my resize button, and I'm just going to pull this till it looks kind of nice. I have to make sure that it can still fit in the middle of my pillow. So visually you can see I've stitched out the background already. The only thing that's going to stitch right now is what's highlighted in red. It is selected. So at this point, I am going to queue up this design and I am going to stitch it out, and I will switch my video over to my iPad and I will show you the stitch out of the summer. So I'm standing at the machine and I wanted to show you a few different feet. This is the number 43 couching foot, and it is the standard foot for couching. All of the feet are interchangeable between the long arm and the Bernina domestic machine. So this is typically my first choice. Also, many of you recognize the number 72 ruler foot, and on the bottom I have put on one of the couching inserts, and these little inserts come as a pack of 3. They are little discs that fit on the bottom of the foot, and they come in 3 different sizes. So the hole on the bottom of the foot can be 3 different sizes. And so that can accommodate thinner threads and thicker threads. Today, I happen to be using the number 26 embroidery foot. It happens to be the right size for this yarn, and so that is the choice for today. Any of the feet that can support and allow the thread, the yarn to flow through freely could be used for couching. So it's not just one size fits all. I am going to go ahead and send the design over from Qmatic, and the machine is going to move to its start position. I'll get these feet out of the way here. When it's ready, when it's done thinking, it's going to move to the start of where I want summer to start. So I'm going to readjust my camera here for you. And so it has dragged my yarn and my thread. So I am just going to say, yes, I'd like to pull up that bobbin thread, and I'm going to pull it out from underneath, just like I would for regular quilting. And I'm going to hit start. My job is to just keep the thread yarn moving freely. I'm going to hit pause here for a moment and just slow things down and then resume stitching. So it's going to take a minute or two to stitch this out, and I will meet you back when we get to the end, and I'll show you how I'm going to tie this off and finish everything out. I advanced and rolled my fabric up so I have a nice new clean spot that I can do my stitching out. And what I want to do now is make the back 2 pieces of the quilt. So I'm going to go back down here to my design center, and I'm going to double click
on the rectangle, and you can see that it has shown up on the screen. And that little X represents where my sewing machine is. So if I were to move my machine, which I'm doing right now, you can't see it, the design would move wherever I needed it to go. I just want to play with it, and so I'm going to unconnect it by clicking on this little hand. I disconnected it from the sewing machine, and now I can move it and do what I want with it just with my finger. This is a touch screen, or with my mouse. So the first thing I want to do is resize this. So that's that button in the lower right hand corner. When I click on it, I am going to use my keypad, and I'm going to not maintain the ratio, right? Because I'm making rectangles, not squares. And so I know that I want this to be at least 22 inches wide. Now that's really going to give us a lot of extra room for trimming up later. And we know that from the front that we want it 18 inches high. So I've said 22 by 18, and when I click apply, you can see that this is 1/2 of the back of my quilt. And I'm going to just say okay. Now I can take that and I can move that up. Remember the big red rectangle you're looking at, this one right here, represents the area that I told my machine I can safely sew. It's called my safe area. So I need 2/2 to the back, because I have inserted a zipper in the back of my pillow. So I'm going to stitch 2 separate halves, and then I'm going to cut it all out with my rotary cutter and simply insert the zipper and then sew it all together. And with this size, 18 by 22 on the 2/2, when we get to the part of cutting it out, you'll be able to see that we have plenty left over, so you don't have to worry that ooh, this is tight. So I'm going to take this one design, and I'm going to go up here and I'm going to duplicate it, and I'm going to move it up side by side with the first one. And I'm going to move this a little closer over this way. And I could also do this with my keypad. Again, this is completely a touch screen, which is really nice. I'm trying to keep my fingers out of the way here. So what I'm going to do next is I'm going to stitch these 2 squares out. So it's kind of like I have the outline of where I want to place my edge-to-edge quilting. So I'm going to pause now, and I'm going to get that stitched out in a separate color, and then we're going to go right back in and we're going to create another edge-to-edge that covers this. So I will see you in a moment. I finished stitching out the 2 rectangles that represent the back of my pillow, and I'm going to now double click from my design center the looped flowers design that we used on the front, and I'm just going to place that on my screen so that I'm covering both of the squares, and I'm going to fill the screen, and I'm going to create an edge-to-edge like I did in the first on the front, by selecting 3 rows, and I'm going to adjust my vertical spacing and bring it in so it looks pleasing to my eye. And I'm going to say, okay. I don't care that I'm overlapping the quilting here, because I'm going to show you in a photo that I stitched out the rectangles in a different color. So I have a cutting line. I could have just sewn an edge-to-edge over this big piece of fabric and then cut it out to fit my pillow, but I wanted the cheater lines, and so I stitched those out first in a different color. So now I'm going to stitch this out, but in order to do that, I have to trim off the extra edges. So this will be just like we did in the first. For the front, I'm going to go up here, and you can see this is the start of my rectangle. So I'm going to trim it right there. I'm going to select this design, and I'm going to trim it horizontally, and I'm going to trim it right at that edge, and I'm going to hit OK. I'm also going to select it by clicking on it, and I'm going to trim it along this line right here, which is the left-hand side, and that will be a vertical cut. So I'm going to go just outside the line of my rectangle. I'm going to chop that all off. And now I'm going to go to the other edge of my pillow, and here's my outside line right here of my rectangle. So when I click on my design, it turns red. I'm going to trim it vertically, and this time I need to invert it so that I'm going to cut everything off on the outside, not from the left side. If I didn't invert it, that's what it would look like. So I want to invert that and just cut this extra off. For the front, I didn't do it. I decided I would do it this time to show you. On the bottom, when I click on the design, this is the bottom of my rectangles. So I'm also going to do a trim here, a horizontal trim just outside of that. And again, I don't want the top part to be missing. I want the bottom part to be cut off. So when I click OK and I zoom back out, you can see that this is the design that's going to stitch out. When I go down here and hit play, my machine is going to turn the design green for go, and it's going to ask me, where do I want to start stitching? Of course, I want to start at the start point. If I had broken a thread or if I had run out of bobbin, I could just line my machine kind of close to where it happened. And if I selected at the closest point on the design, my machine would automatically move where it needed to begin stitching again. So I'm going to say at the start point. And you can see it's thinking down here. And after it's done thinking, my machine, which is represented up here by this little crosshair, is going to move to the start position. And you can see it move on the screen just a little bit, and it's asking me, do I want to pull my bobbin thread up and secure stitches using the sew head? So I am going to pause this. I'm going to go over and get my machine stitching. At the machine, I'm about ready to start stitching out the back side of my pillow. And you can see my sew head is asking me, would I like to pull up my bobbin thread and tie a knot when I start? And I'm just going to go over and say, yes, please bring up my bobbin thread. So when I pull that, I have both threads. And when I click the green check mark, my machine will start stitching. Trim my tails. And I will see you back in a few minutes after this is done stitching.
Now that we finished stitching out our pillow top and back, we're going to remove it from the frame. So if you remember from my earlier videos, we stitched out the outline of the top and the back in a different color thread. So when I unpin it from the frame, and I'm talking about the batting and the top right now, when we unpin it and we take it to our cutting table, with our rotary cutter and our mat and our ruler, we can simply cut along those pink lines. That way I don't have to measure the 40 by 18 and the 18 by 22 pieces that we stitched completely on the long arm. So I'm going to cut out all three pieces. And I'm going to insert a photo here and show you how it looks on the back. It's a very simple construction. I take the two halves of the back and I will put the zipper between both halves. When I do that, I'm going to add a little tab of fabric at the top and a little tab of fabric at the bottom. And I'm going to stitch down both sides. When I stitch that together, I will have a panel about the same size as the top. Now, before I sew the entire pillow together, I have to open the zipper, because what will happen if I don't open the zipper before I sew the pillow together? That's right, I won't be able to open up the pillow. So at this point, I have to open my zipper. I'm going to put right sides together, and you can pin if you want, but I used a 1/2 inch seam allowance, and I simply stitched around the entire outside of the pillow. One other tip and trick that I will share with you, and you don't have to use it if you don't want to, but I did, I tapered my seams when I came to the corners. That way I didn't have a pillow that had wings on the end. You can choose to do that or not. If you just sew it straight around the outside edges, you might want to stuff a little batting up into the upper corners. That way your pillow will be nice and firm and fluffy all the way around. But in the photo that you see of the pillow I created, I did taper the edges so that my entire pillow is really stuffed tight with that pillow form. So once I have sewn around the outside edges, I simply flip it inside out and I put the pillow form in. That's the end of the story. The great thing about this project is it was done entirely on the long arm. Okay, well, maybe 2 seams, one on each side with your regular sewing machine. But the sky is the limit with the creativity that you can come up with on your Bernina Q24, Q20, or Q16. And this is just one of the projects that I'm sharing with you today. As I was creating this project, I did have one more idea. I wondered, what would this project look like if I had actually put an applique for the word summer and then couched around the outside edges? So I'm going to share a photo with you of a sample that I did at the store at Bigsby's, and I thought it turned out really quite nice. I think with COVID, it's been extremely difficult to find really colorful, bright yarns to work with. So I really wanted that to stand out on the black fabric, and you will see all I did was stitch down the word summer right on top of that pink fabric. And I increased my stitches per inch so that I had a really tight stitch so that when I used my embroidery scissors to snip around the outside edges, I wouldn't accidentally pull those stitches out. And then I did just like I did in the video. I put the yarn on my foot and stitched around the outside, and you cannot see that raw edge applique. And I thought that was really cool, and I'll have to have a few pillows like that. And so I use the word summer. You could use winter, you could use fall, you could make a small pillow, you could make hexagon sized pillow. The sky is the limit. Your Bernina and your Q-matic are the key. So please come and see me at Bigsby's. I'd be happy to show you how to use one and get you set up at home with your very own. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Deanna Springer. Thank you for joining us for the Great Wisconsin Quilt Show and for tuning in for Long Arm Quilted Summer Bench Pillow with Donna Bullard. Welcome, Donna. We're so glad to have you here for the live Q&A.
Hi, it's so good to see you. Thanks for having me.
So great to have you here, and you're watching your lecture with your pillow, and what you can do with a long arm machine is creating some questions, so I'll start sharing those with you. A viewer in the chat is asking, can I create my own stitching patterns?
Absolutely. If you want to create an edge-to-edge design, you would do that in Art and Stitch, and you have to have the same start and end point when you're creating an edge-to-edge, or you could create a triangle or a block that starts and ends at the same exact spot. So yes, you can do all of that.
Amazing. And a viewer is asking, what other projects have you made with this technique?
Well, I've made a lot, actually. I've made some Christmas cards. Actually, that's an idea shared with me from one of the customers from the store. And she does applique, so I have done that. I've made handbags, tote bags, and completely on the frame, which, you know, you'd have to come to a class to see that. But really, the sky is the limit with what you can do. You could piece it right on the frame also. You could have your flip and sew and have a quilt completely done and quilted at the end, you know, by the time you take it off.
And it's so freeing. It's like there's no machine body in the way of getting in your way. So you have all the edges and the sides open so you can really get creative.
That 24 inches is sweet, and the machine glides like ice. So if you haven't tried a Bernina Q24, come and see me for sure.
We have other questions coming in. A viewer is asking, what do I need to know to get started with this process?
Well, you need to know what kind of space you have in your basement. So the frame comes in 9, 12, and 13-foot lengths. So you kind of sort of pick where it's going to go in your home. And then we get the machine there and we teach you the basics. Really, a long arm is nothing but a straight stitch machine. It's your creativity that brings it to life. And the Bernina really is hands down the best machine, and you'll be up and running faster than any other. So give us a call and I can help you for sure.
That leads to another question that's coming in. She's asking, what is different about the Bernina Q24 than other long arm machines?
Well, quite a bit. Number one is the domestic sewing machine needles. So, right, the same needle that you use in your standard sewing machine is the same needle that's in that long arm. So if you need a jean needle or a knit needle, a leather needle, that really cuts down that upper thread tension when you use a flat back needle, just really gets you up and running quicker. That's just one. There's many more I could share with you if you want.
Thanks for sharing that tip about the needles. That's always handy. The same needles we use in our regular sewing machine we can use in the Q24. And Marlene is asking, when you say taper the pillow corners, are you making the seam allowance wider or narrower at the corner?
Wider. So if I use just a standard, I would get little peaky points. So it's actually taking a bigger bite at the corner will give you a more squared edge look. Otherwise, you're going to have your pillow form doesn't go up into those corners enough. So I take a bigger bite.
Great tip. Great tip. Thank you. Another question, what presser foot did you use when you were stitching the word summer?
I use the Bernina number 43 couching foot. And so that foot, again, is the same foot that can go on your regular Bernina, and it has a hole in the side that you can feed the yarn through. And so when I'm sewing that word summer, the needle's actually stitching on top of the yarn. It's dragging the yarn around into the word summer, and it's stitching it down as it goes. So great foot.
That leads to our next question. What is couching? Can you explain what you mean by couching?
So on a regular sewing machine, if you were going to couch something, typically you would lay down some yarns or fiber and you'd use a zigzag and you'd cover those, you'd couch them. And so Bernina came up with the 43 foot that can be used in embroidery, free motion on your standard sewing machine and on the long arm. And so it actually pulls the yarn through the side, and then it's feeding the yarn and the needle, instead of couching over top of it with a zigzag, it's going down through the center of whatever fiber you pick. So I'm using a fuzzy yarn there, but you could use all different kinds of cording and things like that to couch.
Great to know. Thank you. Our next question is about the batting. What quilt batting do you recommend for this project?
Well, for this project, I would use a higher loft. I used wool. It was something that I had, but if I had a thicker polyester, I would definitely do that. You know, in a pillow, I want to see the oompa. So I would choose that. If I were doing a project that I wanted to be flat, like a wall hanging, I would use a much flatter bat. But for this, I'd use a high loft.
Speaking of other projects, the next question is about the quilt behind you. Please tell us about the quilt hanging behind you.
Oh, no. I knew that would come up. So this quilt is a kit. I think it's called Fresco. And it's about 5 years old, I think, and it's all batiks. And as you can see, it's quite a labor intensive half square triangle. I'd like to take full credit for it. I quilted it. I helped make it. It was a collaborative effort from everyone at the store. So I think we may have a kit there yet in case anybody wanted one.
Well, it truly is beautiful.
Yeah.
The next question, Donna, is how did you get started with sewing?
Oh, well, I'm self-taught. I started when I was little. Someone gave me, my godfather actually gave me a hand stitching crewel set. And then, I started with that Walmart $99 special one day. And I decided to sign up for a class, and I realized everyone was sewing on a much nicer machine and was getting much better results. And so that's how I got into it. I started and I saw what other people were doing, and I thought, I want to do that. So I've been doing it a long time, and I love it.
It shows. Your project is really fun, and it shows everyone what you can do with a long arm. It's not just for machine quilting, bed-size
That's
quilts.
right.
You can do so much more. And thank you for opening our eyes to that. And we look forward to seeing your other projects that you'll be making with this technique. And tell us how we can get in touch with you.
Well, you can get in touch with me at Bigsby Sewing Center in Elm Grove, Wisconsin. So that's a suburb of Milwaukee. We have a website, bigsbysewingcenter.com, and you can call there at the store. And, if you Google it, you'll get the phone number. It's, I can tell you it's 262-785-1177, but that is the best way to get in touch with me. And Sue and Rosemary and Don are the owners. Everyone there is really knowledgeable and happy to help.
Well, thank you for sharing that and your knowledge and expertise today and all your inspiration. And we look forward to connecting with you through the Bigsby site, and you can connect with Donna through quiltshow.com and click on the vendor mall. Well, thanks so much for being here today, Donna.
Thank you. Thanks for having me. Hi, everybody.
It's so great having everyone tuning in this week for the Great Wisconsin Quilt Show. And be sure to head over to quiltshow.com and take in all the beautiful quilt exhibits too. Enjoy. Thanks again for joining us. This year's educational presentations are made possible with your contributions. Your support helps us offer a free and accessible online experience where we can celebrate our shared love of quilting. Please help PBS Wisconsin bring back the event next year stronger than ever by making a gift today. You can donate on our website or text QUILT to 1-800-236-3636 to make a gift from your phone. Your generosity makes a difference. Thank you.